And we're live, so, yes. Hello everyone who is watching this live or archived. I hope you're good, having a nice day. Where I am, it's quite rainy. I mean, it is in England after all. Let's see. Oh, hello there, another TV viewer. Welcome back. Yes, so we'll get straight into route building, because last time we didn't quite finish the area we were working on, and I do really want to get to expanding the route, so I'll do this as quickly as I can. So I'll switch over to Trainz, and yes, we were working on this part of the valley, and we were in the middle, I was in the middle of clearing the trees. So I'm just going to do this. Okay. There we go. Maybe this time I'll actually realize when the camera is dark, when it gets to nighttime. Because the thing is, if I look out my window, because I'm right next to the window, as you can probably tell, when the camera already shows it as pitch black, when I look at the window it's still quite light outside. So, yeah. Okay. Maybe not that tree. Okay. Just kind of... Excuse me if I'm not talking a lot during this. I'm just really concentrating on doing this as quickly as I can. As you can hear by the clicking, probably. Okay, so how does that look? We need to move this over a bit. But other than that, it looks fine. So, oh, I still need to do some trimming over on this side to get rid of these corners. Okay. Maybe not there. Okay, just save. And now I'll get to texturing. First the forest. Okay. Oh, 1 second, I just need to mute the other monitor. Need to do that again. Okay. Okay, so now I'll just quickly look and see if I need to change this at any point. That looks okay. Okay, that's okay, that's okay. Up here. Looks okay. We need a bit more here. Or maybe not that much, maybe just like that. We'll continue along here. That all looks okay. Good, now we just need to do the other side of the tracks. Okay. Yeah, sure, why not give this single tree a little bit of forest underneath. And I need a bit of a bigger radius here because this is where the cutting trees begin. So now going over here. Oh, and I did... Oh, wait, did I remove the trees here already? I'm not sure now. I'll just move these a bit back. What I was going to say before is I did watch back the last live stream, and I realized exactly how loud the locomotive was. I did turn Trainz down a bit for this one. Maybe later we'll have another test to see how the volume levels are. Because if you don't know, I don't hear myself back while I'm streaming, so I really can't tell what the volume levels are relative to my voice, because OBS, I've changed the volume in OBS, so it's remixed for the stream. Okay. Oh, and as always, of course, this stream will be archived as well. And I'm just saying that in every stream, in case somebody new watches this who doesn't know that they're archived or going to be archived. Okay. Now, do we want maybe a little bit underneath the trees? Because this is supposed to feel a bit more open. Not there, that's a dead tree. It doesn't give that much shade. Well, actually none of these trees give shade because shadows don't work for my for me. But technically this tree doesn't give as much shade as the others, so that's why I didn't paint forest underneath. Like that. Going up here. Sure, we'll give this one a bit of forest underneath as well. And then over here. Then over there. Okay, so, right. Okay, I need to, what do I need to do? Okay, next I need to cover all of this in forest texture, and to do this I'm going to use the copy paste, because this is much quicker, as I realized a couple of streams ago. Maybe a bit of a bigger area like that. Okay. So, second. Okay. Just going along here. Yeah, in this case it would be good if you could copy and paste diagonally, because then I wouldn't need to paste in these small little steps here. But hey, that's not a feature in Trainz. Oh, didn't quite get all of that there. Just going along back there. Actually, I'll save right now. Okay. And that finishes this side. Now I just need to quickly do the other side of the valley. And then, well, the tall grass and things, and then the spline. But then we'll continue the route. Well, the extension. I can use a bit of a bigger brush for this. It will make it easier with the copying and pasting. I might go over this edge again with the grass brush. Just because I think in a few areas I painted too much forest. So just quickly go over the yes, I'll go over it with this toothbrush. Yes. No, a bit of a bigger brush. Still a bit small. Yes, like that. Okay. Back there. Okay, so just along here. And okay. Now just to paste the forest texture on this side. Oops. That's too much. I need to do that when that one with a brush. Okay. Oops, wrong texture. Okay. That looks much better already. So now, just quickly do the tall grass first. Like this about, maybe this sort of brush size. And we'll just continue doing it because back here, it's all kind of connected, running down the valley, the sort of lower portion. So I'll just continue doing it like this. Of course, I'll twirl the texture, maybe a bit larger. I'm twirling the texture so that the pattern isn't that obvious, even though it is still kind of obvious. Okay, maybe in this sort of dip area here. By the way, whenever I kind of look over here and click on my other monitor, what I'm doing is I'm switching over to the users in chat view to see if there are any other viewers with accounts that I can give a shout out to. Because I can see that there are 2 people currently watching at the bottom. But in users in chat I can only see another TV viewer, so the other person must not have an account. So hello other person, whoever you might be. Oh, and of course also you who's watching this archive now. Hello to you too, as I previously said. Is that too much tall grass? I think over there it's too much. Although, maybe not. Well, yes it is. We can use, because we're using the sort of more yellowish looking grass texture, the drier one on this side. Although if it's going up on this side, it might look good over there as well. I'll leave it like this for now. Okay, going over there. Now we just need to add a bit more closer to the tracks so that we have a reason to put down the grass spline, which then again adds more detail. Maybe over here a bit. Maybe down there. Could have a little bit over here. Then it goes through the cut. Oh, right, that reminds me. Do you think it looks good with this taller grass texture along here, or with the shorter one? Because this way, it might look better with the spline, but at the same time, I kind of like the freshness of the other one, although I'm not sure. Actually, I think it does look better with the taller grass texture, so I'll just quickly, well, first I'll save, and then I'll just add the taller grass texture down here. And this does require a bit of finesse because the other textures are so close to it. I don't want to accidentally remove either the gravel or rock texture places where I want it. Okay, just kind of going down there. Now this side, I'll do it from the other side again because of the lighting. Kind of just going down there. And we might actually need to use a different grass spline for this because this is quite narrow, like the green areas. So the other one might be too wide. Okay, like that, and then I just need to put a bit more tall grass along here. Maybe just over here. Oh, I'm not twirling it. Over there. Maybe we could have a little over here as well, coming up to the tracks. And okay, we might add some more over here as the route continues. Okay, now save. Now I just, well, actually, right, the lighter grass texture. I was about to say I just need to put down the splines, but I need to put this down as well. And this kind of more dried out grass texture does fit quite well because this route is set in sort of early autumn. So having some more dried out grass about from the summer, because it's now getting wetter and colder, might not look that bad. Actually, it doesn't look that bad because otherwise I wouldn't paint it down. I need to undo this because I did paint a bit too much in this spot. Okay, so just along there, just down here. Okay, that looks good, at least from this angle. Now from this angle, maybe a bit more over there. And that looks good as well. Now I just need to put down the splines. Okay, get the grass spline, and I'll put it down in the center first. So, kind of just crisscrossing it back and forth in sort of areas or clumps. Trying to hide the fact that they're all going in straight lines. Maybe a little bit over here as well. Maybe a bit on the outside as well. Over there. Okay, we're almost done with this. Just a few more areas near the tracks. I think we do need a bit more of this along here because of the embankment. And then we need to fill this in. Sort of like this. And oh right, we need to put it down by the forest as well. Forgot about that. Kind of like that. And going over here. Over there. And everywhere. No, not everywhere, just kidding. Okay, and I think those are all the tall grass areas. Well, there's a little bit over here. So, how does that look from this side? Let's see if we're going along here. Yeah, that looks good. From the other side. Yeah, that looks good as well. Although this area I'm not too keen about. I think maybe if we delete this. Yes, that looks better. Okay, now I just need to put it down beside the tracks, in well, where the forest is. Okay. And if any and again, if anyone has any feedback on this, so on this route, or any input or ideas, then please get in touch either in the chat or on Discord or whatever, or wherever I should say. And yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you have to think. Also, if you have suggestions about, because if you don't know, I'm currently making a tutorial series, a route building tutorial series on YouTube, and if you have a specific thing that you would like more information on, or more basically a thing featured in a video or covered in a video, then please also get in touch with me and I'll see what I can do. Okay, and I'll cover I'm just saying covering because I was talking about covering things in tutorials, but I'll cover the area of grass in the cutting after I finished with the side of the forest, because the area in the cutting might need a bit more finesse. There's that word again. That's too bright. Oh, and I've just seen that the webcam is quite dark, although if I'm here, then you can see on my face that the light is still shining in. You can see the gleam on my face, so that's proof that I am saying the truth about it being not that dark outside. But I'll still turn on the light. Better? I'll just quickly look on the stream. Yes, that's better. And a bit too bright. the screen, not the light. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now just need to do a quick scan along this side to see if there are any areas where I need to fix the grass or add more grass. All looks okay so far. Looks good. We need a bit more over here because it's quite steep. And you could see the forest floor. Well, directly. Then the grass up there. That looks good. Comes down here. A bit more up there. Along here. Maybe a bit more back there. Well, actually along all of this area, I think. Or maybe not here, it's a bit denser. Looks okay, looks okay. And we need a bit more here because of that tree. And also a bit more here because of the embankment. Well, I don't know if you can really call this an embankment, but there is a height difference. Maybe here as well. Definitely over here and in there. Okay, we need a bit more here, there. Definitely back here, along there, and yep, that looks okay. So now we just need to quickly do the other side of the tracks. And let's see where is here it starts. The area where I didn't put the grass down yet. Looks okay. This tree needs some grass. Maybe we can have this coming along here a bit more. Maybe not that closely. Like this. Okay. And over here. Not that close. Okay. Going up here first. This is nice and easy, this bit. I mean, it's all easy. It's more a matter of how much time it needs to do right. So in that context, I was using easy to mean how time consuming it is. And this area really just needs to be covered in grass. So when we look over here, well, we need the grass to come up a bit more, but if we look down there, it just looks better if this whole area is grassy. Maybe even up to this shrub. So kind of like that. Yeah, that's nice. This side, down there a bit, going just down there. Here. Now how does this look? We need a bit more over here. There. All looks okay. We need a bit more over here. And then we just need to do the other side of the forest. Kind of just going back along there. And that's okay. And then continuing over here. Quickly save. And I realize that I'm basically just saying what you're already seeing, but it's not easy to think of, thoughts to say while concentrating on doing this efficiently and quickly. So if I'm just saying what I'm currently doing, then I'm already thinking about it, so I don't really have to use the the brain power to come up with new thoughts. Okay, that looks good. Just coming up there. Maybe not that close. Okay, well, how about that? Almost. Okay. Well, not quite okay. This needs to extend a bit further. Now it's okay. And we'll leave this for when we extend the route. So, 1 second. Okay. So now, let's put down the grass in the cutting. Oh, hello. Oh, how did I pronounce your name? Lurxx? Is that? Or Lurxx? Lurxx. I'm going to pronounce it Lurxx. If that's wrong, feel free to correct me. Welcome back. It's nice to have you again. So yeah, just going to put down... Oh, well now we'll see if this is too wide, this grass spline, and I'm not sure. It may not be, because it is going up the rocks, the cliff a bit, but at the same time, well, I mean, it looks okay, but if there is a thinner one, I would use it. Maybe there's a different version. I'll just quickly look on the download station. What's it called? JVC T grass spline number 1 K dash mixed. Oh no, that's just the older one. Okay, well in that case, sorry. Much better. In that case, I'll just quickly... Well, I mean, well this one, I think we'll use this one instead. Yes, it's a bit more juicy, if you know what I mean, but I think, well it is, I think better suited for this area. We can have this come up to here. I mean better suited for this area because it's not as thick as the other one, not as wide. Plus you might get a different kind of grass growing down here if the floor is basically rock, since this was carved into rock. Maybe the other kind of grass just finds it more difficult to grow there. Just kind of coming along there, just kind of feeding into the other type of grass. I'm just kind of blending the two here. Sorry. So, what does it look like from the side? I mean, it looks fine. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, so now I just need to quickly do the other side, and then we can move on to adding more baseboards and how the route continues from here. I'm really liking this cutting. It has a very unique feel to it. I do like putting in landmarks. Because as you might have realized, when I do route building, I kind of do it in in sections. So I put down a couple baseboards, put down the tracks, and then I finish that section, and then I move on to the next section. And every section I do try to put in some landmark, something interesting. Because sometimes I do have to just make oh hello, Huh. Should I be worried that there's someone watching called Bloodluster? Okay. Well, just to be on the safe side, hello and welcome to the stream, Bloodluster. Yeah, well, but seriously, yes, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're just finishing up this area and we're now going to add some more base boats over there. But as I was saying before, yeah, for example, in over here in this section where it just begins, the landmark feature is that the valley is beginning. And as I was saying, sometimes there's no way around just making more landscape if you need to get to a particular place. But usually if I'm just continuing, I'm putting in landmarks. In the second section we've got the sidings, the horror point sidings. And then in the next section we've got this cutting where the dirt track goes over the tracks. Now that the grass is put in, this looks, well, if this isn't in the way, this looks much better. And before I forget, I am actually going to turn off the fast forward key in the debug features, which if you didn't know, you can turn on here. Okay. So now let's add some more baseboards. I'm not over here anymore, I'm over here. Yes. So at the end of the last stream, we were talking about when to put in the next sort of town or industry, because from down here it's just over 5 miles to go all the way up here, which means that if this is roughly in the middle, so it's maybe about 2 miles to here and then another 2 miles here, because this siding is about maybe a mile long, maybe a bit less, sorry. So if it's about 2 miles here, then would it be too close to have, because when we have the town, there will be more sidings there. So even though this would be a good area to put the town in, I'm thinking it might be a bit too close to these sidings. Well, let's just put in some more baseboards and plan out the route. And maybe we can, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Come on, it's going in this way, so then maybe I'm just trying to think which angle the tracks should continue at. The valley's going over here. I'm thinking probably just carry on northward. Okay, so how long is this? I'm just going to use a ruler quickly. Let's see. That's about about 4,600 feet. Let's see what that is in miles. That's the wrong one. This one. Feet, mile, 4,600 or 650. Well, that's just under, or rather just just under a mile. Close that again. So let's see, if we say that this is, well, if this is just under a mile, then that's about, well, from here it's just under a mile, maybe 1 mile, 1.5, so that's about 2.5 miles, and 2.5 miles is a reasonable distance between sidings. So if we start the town from the edge of here going upwards, I think that would be a good idea. We don't need this ruler anymore. Okay, so if we add 2 more here and have it, well, let's add 4 more, and that is where the town should begin. Now, here we're going at the steepest angle we've been going so far, which is, if I use the get gradient tool, 2.8%, which I think we can go even a bit higher on this. So I'm just going to go to 3.05%. I like putting in these kind of strange gradients to make it feel more natural. If the player looks at the bottom of the map in TRS-19 and you see the gradient, if it goes up 3.05%, then it feels more natural rather than it being designed that way, which I realize in the real world it is designed that way, but yeah, I just like the way it feels. I'm going to go back to the placeholder track we've been using, which is this one, and okay, we'll just continue along this way. And I think it might be nice that if we have from the town to have this straight view down the valley. So I'll keep this fairly straight. There we go. Okay. And let's see. We want the town to start on this line. So you've got another baseboard to go. So actually we need to also level out the gradient a bit. So what I'll do is I'll just put this curve in, and then I'll put a straightened bit of track in here, and then I'll reduce the gradient to maybe half, so maybe 1.5, well technically 1.525, and then I'll go over here a bit. Where are we? We've still got a little bit of space before we hit the area where we wanted the town to start. So just over here, how does that look? Yeah, it's easy to see the gradient here against the sky, if you can see it on stream. Here you can see it's very steep, going uphill, and then as we get to about here, you can see it leveling out a bit, and then we just need it to level out a bit more. Maybe go to, I don't know, maybe let's do 0.7%. So now I'll just put in another straight piece of track. And actually, what we could do is have the town at a bit of an angle. Well, actually, I was thinking maybe having the town at this angle, sort of. But then I remembered that I want this track to go kind of northwest. Because we did talk about maybe having a triangle of tracks over here. So like this maybe. Well, okay, I will put it in this way, and then we can have a curve where it goes back around this way. That might be interesting. And I'm thinking that we do have the town at a gradient. So, well, actually no, I won't, because I do want to put sorry, I do want to put a station in there, and the station can't be at a gradient because it has a fixed piece of track. So yeah, I will make it level out. Well, actually, where is the edge of the town? Oh, we're just approaching now, that's good. So I actually, because the thing is, if you put in zero gradient and then you put track down, it automatically aligns it to the terrain down here. So what I'll do is I'll put in a gradient of 0.01, which is essentially no gradient, but the track will remain up high, which easier to work with. Okay, so now how does that look from here? Okay, so we're going along there. I'm not too sure about this curve. Well, no, this curve is No, this curve is fine, it's just... Well, maybe if we move this one, well, I'm not sure, this way like this. Yeah, that's better. We've got a curve like this, curve over here, and then we've got the curve over here going into the town, and this will likely be the point where the sidings come off from. Okay, so what's the best way of doing this? I think, well, the town is going to have an area up here, so I think I need to put the terrain up, because then it's easier to do parallel tracks. So I'll get the height that this is at, which is at the moment 161 meters. So I will just, actually I don't know why I'm going all the way over here. I'll just type in the height over here, 161 meters. And then I'll just use the set height tool to kind of bring the terrain up to this level, and then along this area where the town should be, kind of along here, and then we'll probably have the tracks start curving back towards the west. The west, yes, back towards the west. I think that's long enough for sidings, maybe just a bit longer. Okay, so just adding a bit more land here, so we just have a bit more space to work with, really. And if you remember, I did want to put in an industry here, so maybe have a short branch line kind of going off at an angle. Let's see. Well, actually, yeah. I'm just trying to picture this, because I'm thinking if we have maybe a gravel mine or something like that over in this direction, because I do want maybe a branch coming off here and going off there, then, well, since we have this steep hillside, we would need a kind of valley that it could go along. So if we put in a valley here, then it should go all the way down to meet this height, or maybe not all the way, but some of the way down to meet that height, which means that we'll need a bridge here for the main line to cross. Yeah, okay, so that is an important feature which I need to put in now, because that will affect where the junctions will start from for the town. Not author. No payware, that's the one I wanted. So let's see, we've used a bridge before, which is this one. Depending on how long these supports are. Well, yeah, they're quite long. I think this should be fine, because the supports are actually trackside objects. And if you didn't know what I just did, I changed it over to grid view, which you can do by pressing F9, or if you're on Mac, function F9. Let's see. Well, the thing is, if the tracks go all the way up here, then that means that the terrain will also have to come all the way up here. So if, well, we'll need quite a long bridge for the terrain to drop down and then go all the way back up. So maybe like this. Sorry. Also, does this curve? Oh, this curves. That could be interesting. Well, if we have it like this, maybe. Because the track is coming in at an angle, so if I do something like this, then we could have a bit of a curved bridge, which might be nice. So the track is coming in here, so we'd have a curve coming over there, which actually means that this kind of needs to be like that. And then this should be somewhere over here. Actually, what would it look like if we deleted this spline point? I think that looks perfectly good just as it is. Okay, just save quickly. Okay, so if this is our bridge, well then the town would go over at this angle, which means that we need to add a bit more terrain sort of along here, because the angle did change a bit because of that. But that's okay. Okay. Hey, we could do something similar to that famous bridge in the Feather River canyon route. There is, because there is, let's see if I can find an image of it. Where is it? No, that's not what I'm looking for. This one. This is the Keddy Y, right. Let's see. Keddy Y. Ah, here we go. So if you didn't know, the Feather River route has this famous Y that's on a bridge and in a tunnel, I think, as well. Actually, I'm not going to zoom in because zooming in sometimes causes crashes for me. But here you can see it. There is, you've got a track coming here, then you've got one bridge going over the canyon, going that way, and they've got another bridge going over the canyon this way, and they've actually got a tunnel connecting the two straight across. I won't have the tunnel here because I want to do some switchbacks if you want to go the other way. Oh, runarounds, sorry. But we could have two bridges here. So if we wanted to do this, then if the other valley sorry, if the other valley goes along here, then we could have another bridge crossing the valley here so that the tracks go along the left side of the valley instead of the right side, or since the camera's flipped, the left side instead of the right side. I think I'll do that. But first, I need to actually get the shape of the valley down before I start thinking about doing that. Because the shape will obviously impact how the tracks will go. Even though usually I put down the landscape first and then the tracks later, in this case I'll do it somewhat the other way around. I won't finish the landscape first, I'll just put in the way that the valley goes. Okay, and I will need to get the height of the valley down here so I know roughly to what height the other valley needs to go to. Oops, and that's the thing again from before where Trainz doesn't recognize that I'm no longer holding down the mouse button, which, as you might think, or expect rather, can be a bit annoying at times. Okay, so if this is sort of coming down here, just quickly make this go over to this side. Then we've got the valley, the slope, I mean, sort of coming down this way, just roughly like that. The same on this side. You've got the valley coming down here, sort of like this, and then of course going along that way, which means that, well, actually we don't have this much space because the bridge does need to come up to meet the ground, which it does also need to do on this side, so I do actually need to add a bit more over here for this. Just something like that, roughly. Which means we have this much space for the valley to come along. So, let's see. I think the valley should go something like this back there. And I do want to keep the height somewhat, which means we'll need quite steep cliffs. Which then again means that we need to have some sort of water down there, because you are not going to get that those kinds of steep cliffs that I'm thinking we're going to need without a river running down there. And that river won't be affected by the dam that I was speculating about last stream, I think it was. So let's see. I'm just kind of trying to imagine the shape that this will be at, roughly. So if it's something like this, again, roughly, I'll just add in this little bit of track here. Okay, so if this is crossing across there, maybe we can even have this narrowing up a bit over here. So kind of like this, maybe. And then, well, okay, so if this is then carrying on at this angle, roughly, then we can have the junction here. I need to straighten this bit. And then the curve of the bridge going over there. And then if it's going all the way over here, it will again also need to curve. This is getting to be quite the large bridge, I'm realizing. I'll put in some of these supports to see what it looks like with the supports. For that I'll need to go back to get them. Okay. Let's see, how far down do they reach? Oh, well that's interesting. They don't reach down far enough, apparently. Okay. Well, maybe they have more supports. So I'll type in bridge support. No, there's only this one. I'll just quickly have a look and see bridge support, if there are any longer things. And I do have a first class ticket active because of this, because of the series, so that it doesn't take ages to download. Because if you didn't know, Trainz by default, even though you can access the download station for free, the Trainz limits the download rate to just about 10 kilobytes a second, which is very slow. So yeah, I don't see any here. So I'll just search for girder That's not how you spell girder. And I'll just see if there's a different bridge. I mean, a bridge that might already have longer supports built in. I mean, this one almost has long enough ones. Although, I don't really like the stone ones. I will put this bridge over here just in case it's the only one we find that fits. Oh, there's a 2-track one as well. No supports here. This one, nope. And actually I'm going to get rid of the elevation just so that well, actually no. it was actually helping in this case, since this girder apparently is quite bendy. Yes, perfect bridge for this scenario. And this is the one we're using. No, this is a 2-track one we're using before. Okay, so instead of girder, I'm going to. Well, what's the other one? Girder. There's a, what is it? Beam bridge. No. Well, let's see. Actually, I do have. Okay, well, I'm going to try one thing with the, well, no, this is too far apart. I was going to say that I could try putting in supports only on either end and have it floating, but that's not right. I do have another a really tall bridge in a route that I've already finished, the Coleman Mountains Railroad, which will be put up for sale at some point. So you're going to get a little sneak preview. I've already completed the sessions for it. It's just a matter of making the trailer and screenshots and then I'm going to submit it. It takes a little while to load. So how are you? Oh, it's loaded. Okay. This, let's see. Yeah, this is the spot. This bridge. Wrong tab. And it's not just snow, this is actually a seasonal map. So if I change the time of year, the objects and textures will actually update. Yeah, but the route I'm working on now, the Milton Valley Railroad, is not using seasonal assets, simply because if you're doing that, while it does add a lot to the route and makes it feel so much more alive, it does severely limit the assets you can use. Yeah. Okay, now just place this on here. And yes, I need to give this the same height as the other bridge. Now, how does that look? If I delete this, well, actually, no, I'll put this bridge roughly in its place first, and then I'll delete the other one. Actually, no, I will leave one slightly off to one side so it's easier to grab, and then I'll delete this piece. And it looks like I might need to actually change this angle a bit, because this has these beginning bits where it's kind of not right. Not right, sorry. Yeah, that looks weird. That is really strange. I didn't know that this asset had that. Okay, that's going to be a problem if we're going to have this curved. Well, never mind. I'll put this asset in for now, and then I'll go looking for a different bridge asset off stream, and if I find something better, then I'll replace it with that using the bulk replace tool. And if worst comes to worst, we can always use this one and just put the terrain up a little bit more, even though I really don't want to do that. Well, technically, I suppose that's not worst case scenario, but worst case scenario regarding the asset for the bridge. Okay, I need to make sure to leave a little bit of space here so that the other bridge is easier to delete, like that. And then this bit as well, need to join this up. Did I already? Yeah, I already did that. Okay, I mean, the point is is that it's easier to imagine now what the valley looks like. So if we imagine, well, we might need to put this a bit closer so that the curve is a bit better. Okay, so if we imagine we're coming up from all the way down there. Sorry. Okay, if we imagine we're coming up from all the way down there, coming this way, it gets very, very steep. Coming up here, we'll have the land quite steep up here, the slope. Comes over here, and then we need to cross this little ravine, and then we're into the town. From this side, we can already look down the valley, or we can take the branch line going this way off over there. Okay. Yeah, I'll just get rid of this track, it's in the way at the moment, and I can easily find it again later. So, yeah, I'll just actually put this track going down along here in a bit further at the moment. Just so that when we're making the terrain, it's going to be easier to do, because they'll know where the objects are. And actually this, well, yeah, this should go up a grade as well. How about a 1% grade to start off with? So just kind of like this. Okay. Sure. Now onto the town. I'll actually make this grade going down here first, so that it's easier to see what the space looks like, easier to understand. Okay. So just going down here. And actually, if we do have a river coming down here, then we might need to put in we might need to put in some sort of lake over here, because we can't just have the river going off into this direction, because, well, there's no river there. So we would need to have a lake here. That's a thing to consider. And actually, that's one of my viewers actually suggested this, that we put a lake in somewhere. He actually said to put a lake in all the way back there, but I only got the feedback after the stream when that area was already finished. But he was right, a lake would look good in this area, and now we've got the opportunity to put it in. Okay, just quickly look. Okay. Good, so I won't make this too final yet, this slope here, but just so that I've got a better idea of the space. And now, since we've already taken up this much space with the bridges, I will need to extend this back this way a bit, because I do still want some reasonably sized sidings here as well. And actually, we might also need to put in a turntable here, because for the same reason that we put in the water tower at the Horror Point sidings, because this is in the sort of 50s, 60s, where steam is either still around or is not long gone, which means that all the facilities needed for steam would still be here, all the infrastructure for that. So that means water towers, cooling towers, turntables, that sort of thing. And if we've got a branch coming from over here, then trains coming from there going this way, steam engines would need to turn around, because they don't have cabs on either end. Well, there is a cab, well, there are some cab forward ones, but they would have the same issue, just reversed. So, I will, let's see, what height is this at? Still 161. So, 161, and I will actually put this all the way up to this height, so that I don't have to put in a gradient yet. Okay, just quickly save. Okay, so I'll get rid of the gradient here. And now let's, okay, so if this is sort of the area we're looking at, then by this point all of these sidings will have needed to come back together to form the single track main line. So this is kind of the length we've got, and looking at it from the side it's quite long, but if you look down it doesn't really look that long. On the map it's quite long, but that's, so it's okay, it's okay. So we need to put in a passenger station, and I do think that I've put an asset for that in my pick list. So let's just quickly look here. Let's see, whistleboard, pulp mill, sign, grade crossing, tanker car, grain hoppers, beaver dam, nope. Actually, this one maybe. That might be a good station. Actually, yeah, you can see this. This is called Z fighting. This is when two surfaces are at exactly the same height. So the program doesn't know whether to display this one or this one, so it constantly switches between the two. Okay. Actually, this would be an interesting bridge to use here. A bit oversized, but we might get to use it sometime later. Okay, let's see, we've got some, I've put some roads here. A drawbridge, not needed here. Another bridge. Another bridge. A logging thing, nope. Actually a freight terminal. We might, yeah, we might need a freight terminal here if we want to unload some box cars here, so general goods. Lifting bridge. Actually, where is it? I wonder why that's not adding the object. This might be a better asset to use. Anyway, that's not the point right now. Oh right, that reminds me. I forgot to put in frog turnouts. Right, because if you look over to this siding here, because this is not a procedural track, the tracks by the junction don't actually animate. But here I did put in these frogs here, and that's what they're called, these bits of guiding rail, to make it look a bit more realistic, which I actually didn't do on the junctions we've put in on the streams yet, which I'm actually going to quickly do now. It won't take long, just a couple minutes. So let's see, how did I do this here? Okay, so the longer one is on the outside. Okay, so just going over here. I'll put the, let's see, is this the right way? No, I need the right one for this, which is incidentally the right one. I think that's right. Is it right? I'll just quickly look over here, because I did actually look at how it's supposed to be bit beforehand. Ah, right, I understand. So the short one goes up to where the tracks meet. So over here, I was already using the right one as it turns out. So going over here, so this one kind of goes up to where the tracks meet, so it goes through there. Then we need, yeah, we need the other one here. And just kind of align the two. And it's not exactly as it should be, it's not exactly right, but if you're looking at it like this, it looks a lot more realistic. Even if you don't actually consciously register it as such, it does add to the realism. And I'll need to do this on the other siding as well quickly. Okay, just adding this here, kind of there. Maybe one back. Yeah, again, when placing these, I'm kind of looking, actually I'll go to first person view. I'm kind of looking at this bit of the frogs. I'm just trying to make it so that this is just about touching at the tip. Which I think is right. Yes, it is right, because it's carrying in the train across. I think. If I'm wrong, then, well, it's not that big of a detail to be wrong about. Although there are some US ones. What's the difference? Oh, they're just a different color. Well, this one fits better. Okay, so that's the frogs done on this end. Just need to quickly put them down on this end. Oh, was already turned the right way. And I did actually remember to put these in off stream, but I was in the middle of doing something else and then I forgot. Okay, yeah, it goes over here. Right, and then it comes up here. I won't put the frogs in here yet because, well, the tracks aren't finished yet. I might want to put in some of the rusted track here. Yes, because I do have, no, that's the wrong one. I'll just quickly show you. Because if I go to this track, I do have this one, and then I've got the more rusty one. It's not that used that often, which I kind of use for sidings or things like that, where, well, it's not used that often. So this is one station that I've got, and I'll actually search for station. Make sure to put in the no payware filter. Because not that one. Because what station we choose here will impact directly the shape of the tracks, because the track along the station has to be straight, so we need to keep that in mind. Let's see. Nope, that's not the right one. True row station building. Nope, doesn't quite fit. Yes, perfect. No. Gas station, substation. Not these ones. Okay, this one maybe? Nah, that's... well, no, doesn't quite fit. Too large. Nope. This one, too small. We've got station unsichtbar, which means invisible in German, which is not quite what we're going for yet. Too large. Station sounds. No. We've got platforms. No. No, that's a British station. No. And yes, I realize that this isn't quite as exciting as putting down tracks and things like that, but it is an important thing that you do need to do when you're making a route and you want it to turn out good, is to just find the right assets. Because this looks okay. Maybe I'll use that one. Yeah, we don't need this. We'll add our own scenery to that. St. Pancras clock? Nope. No. These, oh, nah, too expensive for this area. Oh, no, that's not the right one. No, that's a British one as well, I think. Well, this one maybe. No, it's too big. Station basic. Station banter. Which is a sound file. Not all of the sound files work in the newest version of Trainz. The newest versions of Trainz, I should say. Maybe we'll try that one out a bit later. And by a bit later, I mean probably in a different stream. Nope. It would be nice to have a station that already has a track attached to it, so you don't need to put in an invisible station on top so that passengers work. So no, that's not right. A GWR station, sewer, yeah, that's right, we need a sewer pumping station. Or this one, a different sewer pumping station. This one. And if anyone has an asset that would fit in this, you feel free to type it in chat. It would speed up this process a lot. Let's see. That's UK station, power station. Maybe this, no, not that one. This one maybe. Well, no, it's a power station. On the little thumbnail, it kind of looks like a platform, but no, it's a power station. Which we will actually need when we put in the dam, because it's obviously a hydroelectric power station, which means that we will also need to put in some power lines, but we can have those go off into a separate valley, so we don't need to see them along the rest of the route. Underground station, London Underground station, probably not that fitting. Let's see. No, that's an invisible station. I did download some good stations. It's just in Trainz there's so many assets, which is great because it means you can do a very large range of things with it, but it also means that sometimes finding assets can be a bit difficult. but at least there is a search function in Trainz, which is something that in Train Simulator, so Dovetail Games is Train Simulator, or Railworks, doesn't have. I've tried making a route in that before, and yes, one of the first things that struck me is there is no search function. The assets in that, the assets that you have available are the assets from routes that you've imported all the assets from. So for example, if you have the well, let's go back to the Feather River Canyon. Sorry. If you're using the electric I always struggle with the name. Electrical longboard. Oh, electrical longboard. That's how to say it. It's simple when you actually see that there are two L's. Electrical longboard. Hello, electrical longboard. Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a nice day. I'm just talking about I'm just searching for a station asset because we made the line. Well, we already put in the line coming up here along this valley, and we'll have a town up here. We've got this branch line going off this way, and I do need to find a different bridge asset because this one doesn't really handle curves that well, as you can see. Sorry. And yeah, we'll put in a lake down here. But at the moment, I'm still trying to find the best station for this town, because obviously the length of the station will impact how the tracks are going to be laid, because the track on the station, it has to be straight. Well, in most cases anyway. So in the meantime, I was talking about Train Simulator, because I was saying that in Train Simulator, well, so Railworks, so Dovetail Games, Train Simulator, one of the first things that struck me when I was making a route there, or when I was figuring out how to make a route there, is that there is no search function for the assets. If you've imported a route, for example, Feather River Canyon, which has a lot of different assets. So for example, if you want the textures from that, but you want the signals from, say, the Northeast Corridor route, then you have to import the assets from both routes, which means that the assets list is going to be very long. You're going to have the whole list of different signals and and other trackside objects from both routes in there. And if you found a signal that you want to use, you put it down. And yeah, you put it down, and then you go off to do something else. You want to put down another signal, you want to put down the same signal, since there is no search function, and I don't think there's a get asset tool function there either. Sorry. Then you need to actually write down what asset you're using. So then the actual name of the signal, which sometimes you can't do, because the names are so long they don't fit on the panel. And then you have to go through the list, which I hope is alphabetically sorted, but I don't actually know that. And then find the asset again. Which, if you want to use a whole bunch of different things from a whole bunch of routes, those asset lists can reach up to thousands of assets. So, I mean, unless there are search functions, in which case, ignore what I've said, because I don't actually have that much experience, but I did go over the editor's user interface with a fine brush, as it were, and I couldn't find it. So either it's hidden or it doesn't have one. I think it doesn't have one. Actually, no, this is a British station. But we're almost through the list of stations here. Oh, that's the one we've already placed. Okay, where up to the last couple of assets. And that's it. So, sorry. Much better. So, these are all the different assets. Now, if you've got a Twitch account, feel free to type in chat if you've got a preference for one. Because if you're not going to type anything, then I'm just going to have to choose. So, let's see. This one is maybe for a goods shed. So this one is not the passenger station. This one's not part of the choice. So then we've got this one, which does not have a track. So we need to put in an invisible station. And since it's quite similar to the other ones, I'm not going to use this one. We've got this one, which does have a very nice wooden platform. Sorry. Okay, which does have a very nice wooden platform. But again, we need to put in an invisible station, which we might do because it is quite nice. We'll just put this over to the side. Then we've got this one, which is a 2-platform one, which is useful if you have a double-track main line and you want the station to be accessible from both tracks. We don't have this here, and since the train is going to need to go on a siding anyways, it might as well only have one platform. We've got this one, which, let's see. Oh, well, this isn't even a proper station. It doesn't have platforms. You can't board from there. So if we did want to use this as a proper station, we'd need to attach invisible track to this, and then put in an invisible station over that, and then attach the track to that, so it looks like it's coming up to here. So we basically need to ignore these tracks. But we've got plenty of other stations here, so I'm not going to use this one. Then let's see. We've got this one, which is quite a long platform, which is nice. We've got this one, which is a bit of a shorter platform. I think I like the longer platform a bit more, so I'll delete this one. Then we've got these three. So we've got these two. This one is red brick. Quite a long platform. Not as long as this one, though. Then we've got this one, which is sort of this red lumber. Which, if you didn't know, timber is actually logs, lumber are planks. Which is why when a tree is felled, you yell timber, not lumber. So I'm going. So it's either these two or this one. So this one, also wood, looks good. Let's see what loads they have. Okay, so they have SF luggage, mail, express parcels, let's see, crated goods, and of course passengers. This one looks like the same thing. Might be made from the same author, these three then. So it's really, it's really between these. So, if you've got an account and you'd like to choose this, then for the leftmost station, type in a 1 in chat. For the center one, a 2. For the right one, a 3. So I'm just going to leave maybe about a minute or so for the stream to catch up, because people might be watching from places around the world where the stream hasn't caught up yet, and I don't really want to jump the gun, as it were, and already choose a station, and then only to have someone say, oh, the other station, please. So, okay. Just looking at the clock. I mean, other people might do some small talk here, ask, how's the weather where you are, or where are you from, that kind of thing, are you having a nice day, which I already asked, so, yeah. So yeah, I think it's better not to do small talk. I realize that I'm just talking, probably for the sake of talking, but I'm not going to do it anymore, at least for this area, this section. And the minute is up, and nobody has written anything, so I'll choose. So, okay. I've chosen this one. So I'll delete these two, and this is the station. It's not got a very long platform, so I'll just kind of place it. Well, let's see. We could have the town sort of in the middle along here, so we have the station there, or we could have the town maybe end around here and have the rest of the sidings be in wooded area. That might be more interesting, in which case I'll probably leave the station around here someplace. Okay, next thing, sorry. Oh, right, and this station might use this as, well, no. Well, maybe. I was thinking maybe as a cargo terminal, but it's not really a warehouse, so I'll delete it. Next thing is, to put in the rails, we need to decide where we want the turntable, because this does need to be fitted to work with steam locomotives, as I said before, so we do need a turntable. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Small turntable, no, this one, no. We've got the broad gauge terminals, because I am actually working on a broad gauge route. So Isambard Kingdom Brunel's broad gauge, which is what the Great Western Railway originally used in the UK. This one? No, it's got sort of stubs on the end. That's narrow gauge. That's 30 foot. This one might look good. The ground's a bit dried out. Let's see. Let's see what kind of locomotives would fit on here. So I'm just going to use a PRR locomotive. This one, that's a small one. I'd like to put down a little bit of a larger one. That's not to say that we're going to be using PRR locomotives on this route, because I would like to reskin, well, maybe if we can reskin some, but I would like to have the all of the branding be the Milton Valley Railroad livery and everything. I mean, that is if I can get permission to reskin the assets that I want to use. So this is a fairly large locomotive, kind of the length that we might be using on this railroad. So does this fit? It does, but well, I'll just add some track. I'll just add some track quickly, just so we can actually move it on, because if you don't know, in trains you can only place trains this far away from the ending of the track. Even though you can drive them back all the way, you can't get them any closer. So I do need to put on some of that. So, sorry. Yes, this locomotive fits perfectly on this. So, okay, so we'll use this turntable. And also, it does have a changing track attachment here, which is actually really useful. So, let's see. This goes up here. So, this turntable is mainly going to be used for traffic either coming from down here, going this way, that wants to go over there, or that's coming from here and wants to go down there. So if we imagine a train coming down this way, then it's going to go over here, and then it needs to decouple, turn around, and go to the other side. So, actually, yeah. If we want to have this as forest, though, might be good. Actually, it might be good if we have the turntable close to the track, the station. Also, another thing is helpers. Because this is quite a steep bit here, we should maybe have sidings for helper engines, or if you're from the UK, bankers. Not the people with the money things, but actually banking engines that help trains go up banks or up slopes. So if we put this here, actually I'll put in the sidings first so we know how much space we've got. So just put in junction here. And again, when I'm placing this, I'm trying to make it so that the spline point edge kind of meets the rail, and that kind of so to keep the distance the same. That looks okay. And I'm thinking having another 3 tracks here. So basically a passing track, a passing track here, and then we'll have another track which connects to the station, which might also be used for the cutting of trains. And when a train is cut, it basically means split into multiple pieces so that it fits in a siding that it would otherwise be too long for. Sorry. Or either that, or if there's a very steep slope, a train might be cut so that they can haul up part of the train first, and then go back for the other part. Which, if you look on YouTube, there are some quite good films of Norfolk Southern, of the Norfolk Southern Railroad, where they have to cut a train, and they do actually need to cut the track here to attach it to the station. Okay, so so just about like this. I think that looks good. So then we need, well, we need a junction here to kind of connect to the turntable, which will actually move sort of to here. Like that. How does that look? Looks okay. And we do need, I do want to put another sort of siding back here, just that if you're playing this in realistic mode and you're putting a steam engine onto the you're putting a steam engine onto the turntable, you have a bit more leeway and you don't just hit the buffer, or what's it called? Buffers are if it's got 2 of them. If it's the knuckle coupler one, like in America, bumper, I think it's called. Basically, so you don't hit it and derail. Okay, so that's turntable in place. Next, well, next let's put in a water tower. So, although from a realism point of view, sorry, it's just from talking a while. From a realism point of view, there would be a water tower up there, but we already have one down here. So, if from a gameplay point of view, it might be better to have. Although, no, I'll put one up there because this water tower also needs to serve as the branch line, so that if a steam engine, sorry. So that if a steam engine's coming from the branch, it needs to be able to get water there without coming all the way down to Horn Point siding. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise. So I'll grab this water tower asset we've been using here, or water tank as it's called, and place it down over here somewhere. And I'm thinking just putting it over here on the same track as the turntable is fine. If the steam engine's coming over here, then sorry, then it might need to turn around. If it's already on the track, it might as well fill up with water. So, connecting this up there, and I do need to turn it because there's now a little kink in the track. So about there, looks good. And we also need a coaling place here. Steam locomotives, they don't need, well, they need water more often than they need coal. So I'll only put coaling towers sort of around here. And I believe I have a cooling tower asset in my mods test route, which it's just a route where when I download something, I place it down, see how good it is, if it works right. Yes, here's some rolling stock for maybe an upcoming route, I'm not sure yet. Let's see. Is this a... No, that's grain unloader. Maybe I already removed it. Okay, it's not placed down here, so I'll need to search for it. But there aren't that many. Don't worry, there aren't that many assets that have coal tower or coaling tower in it in the name than there are stations. So this won't take as long, probably. Okay, so no payware, coal tower. Oops, I'm on the session layer. Okay, this one doesn't have a track, which means it's on an industry. This one has got 3 tracks. Maybe we can work with that. If we put the banking or the helper sidings along there as well, we might be able to use that one. This one doesn't have tracks. Well, this one, no, this one has a narrow gauge thing as well, where you can unload coal from there. This one is a bit too large. That one might be good. Or this one. Let's see. This has... Oh, right, I see. This one... Right, it has 2 tracks. So this one consumes coal. So if you unload coal here... no, actually, sorry. The other way around. This one produces coal, which means that you can unload coal. Well, you can load... I'll start again. So, the left track, you can load coal into trains. The right track, you can unload coal. So this one consumes coal, this one produces coal, at the rate specified here, which might be interesting. Might be good material for a session. Because you might have a session where you're taking the utility train around, going to all the different coaling towers, refilling them. So actually, yes, I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to put it on the same track as this. But actually, we do need to put a junction in somewhere to connect this. And if we put it this close, there won't be any space. So let's see. I might just put this water tower over here, and then put this maybe here, and then there should be enough space to get this. Well, it's still very close, isn't it? No, I'm actually, I was thinking maybe putting it this way so that this is one track, but it's the other, but the angle's not right. The angle, yeah. Well, we could have it maybe here, and then just have another junction here where that splits off again. That might work. Actually, yeah, you can see the texture through that. So I'm actually going to turn it this way around. Although, maybe actually putting it back here is a better idea. Then we could maybe have the track coming over here, so it's not cutting through the turntable. Okay, let's see. So actually, we could have it connecting over here. But then we need to put this in as well. Well, actually, that could work. Yes. I know I sound surprised, and that's because I am. But this could actually be interesting. So, well, maybe not there, maybe a bit closer. So maybe there. So if we had something like this, we might not actually need one of these markers. Now, if we had something like this, then we obviously need to extend these down here a bit. But then if a locomotive wants to refill, it needs to just come off the main, go over here, load there. No, it makes some more sense if it's the other way around, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll just detach those, flip it around, and then reattach them. Basically, and I will need to put this a bit more over here so that the curve here isn't as steep. So basically, now, yeah, if a locomotive needs to refill, it doesn't matter. Yeah, if a locomotive needs to refill, can come over here, can maybe drop off its train here, and then we'll maybe put in, actually that's a good point, we could put in an intermediate track to cross over. Then we need to straighten this out a bit, just so it stays parallel, and with this one as well. Maybe put a bit further back, so it's not as steep, the angle of the junction. So, let's see. No, that's not right. Should be a bit further over there. One second. Oh, well, that's good enough for now. So we can have a locomotive dropping off its train here, decoupling it, coming over here, switching onto this track, reversing back here, coming over here, loading up on coal, going over, loading up on water, maybe turning around if it needs to, and then if we want to refill it, then we can have a train going over here with a coal car or wagon, depending on where you are, coming back over here, and then refilling it there. That's good. Now I just need to make a bit more space, and I'm actually going to put in quite a long siding, maybe making it come around here, maybe coming around the hill if it's already coming around there. And I'm doing this so that if you are refilling this, sorry, if you are refilling this, then you might have quite a long train, maybe 5 or 6 coal cars, and so you don't actually need to cut your train. You can just reverse it all the way down so that there's enough space for it. This, on the other hand, doesn't need to be that long because it just needs to fit a locomotive on it. So just make this about this long. We might actually connect these together, so there's a junction. Then in which case I do need to put this a bit closer this way so there's enough space for a locomotive to actually fit to turn around, in which case I need to don't know what happened there. In which case I need to make the curve like this. I need to add a little bit like that. So just like this. And okay, that looks good. Okay, so if this is the sort of servicing area, then if we want bankers, or helpers, as they're known in the US, then we can just add a siding there. Maybe add another supply point in here. Sorry. So, let's see. Well, we could just have a siding coming off like this, going up to the station. So, just like that maybe. Yeah, we can have a little fence going around this, maybe with a path going through there. Yeah, we can just have a locomotive or two sitting here, waiting in case they're needed to pull trains or help them up the slope. So it's the banker track. So we've got the banker track or helper track. We've got the water tower, turntable, and coaling area. So now we just need the warehouse, or the track with a warehouse, where we can unload goods, because I do want sessions where the player is kind of traveling to these little towns with a goods train and stopping to maybe unload some crates or something out of boxcars to kind of supply the town, which means we need an actual place to do that. So I did put down this building here, which might be good for it, but it's a bit large. So I'll actually search for freight, because I think there are some freight depots that might fit quite well. I mean, this one looks reasonable. Is this actually nameable? I'll put in a name there. No, it doesn't show up. I thought that maybe the name would show up here, but it doesn't. So this one, perhaps, well, that's just a platform. It's a freight truck. Actually, this one might be good. Let's see what this has. That's a bit strange. This is set up to consume caterpillar oil drums and produce caterpillar oil drums. I have a feeling that this asset was made for a very specific route. So no. Even though it looks good, I'm not going to use it. Because I don't know what, frankly, I don't know what to do with caterpillar oil drums except just ferry them around. This might look good. Okay, I'm just going to delete this one because at the moment this is my favorite, or well, not the favorite really, just the best one I found. This one's too large. A JR blue van, nope. No, not these. Not that. Excavator, nope. This one maybe. No, it doesn't really have a platform except for this little bit, and that's too small. No. Actually, I'll quickly save. This one, let's see what's this. Oh, it consumes general goods and it delivers and produces them. That's fine, but the thing is, if you have a train that already is partially loaded, then sometimes it can unload the car and then reload it, and it's not really. That's the one we just deleted. Some more trucks. Too large again. Too large. This one, too large. Got containers. And we could also we could just also find a warehouse, or maybe this one. We could also just find a warehouse building and manually add a platform and a multiple industry building. But I think that this one back here is good enough for this town, and that covers all of them. So I think that this one's fine. We will need to add a multiple industry here and set that up, but we'll need to do that next stream because I've just looked at the clock and we are currently on the 11 o'clock mark. So yeah, that's the stream already. Wow, the time flew by. It feels like maybe an hour has passed, maybe 3/4 of an hour. Huh. 2 hours. Well, yes. So, thank you. Actually, no. I'll switch to the other screen because I do actually have this for this. So, thank you for joining me in this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, this will be archived, actually, either later today or early next morning. And yes, if you have any feedback, give it, and that is the end of the stream. So thank you for joining me, and goodbye.